Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Elyse DeLucci Show, episode 99. How are you doing? How was Easter? We hadn't talked last week. I missed talking to you. So you'll be pleased to know, let me just say at the top of the show, this podcast is now on YouTube. So if you ever want to see what this whole operation looks like, you can go on my YouTube channel, which is Elyse DeLucci on YouTube, and you'll see a playlist called The Elyse DeLucci Show. And we have episodes 96, 97, 98, and soon to be episode 99. And let me just say, the first 3 episodes, the camera was a different way. Episode 99, this episode, I have flipped the camera. So you see a little bit more of my house, a touch more. We'll see what we like better. I'll take a poll. Anyway, fact of the day. Easter eggs, woven Easter baskets. We all know them since the dawn of time. You're going to die. Did you know that the reason why we use woven baskets for Easter is because it symbolizes a bird's nest, symbolizing rebirth, Christ, the whole thing. And here's the thing, okay? Is this why we have eggs on Easter, like birth, because we're celebrating new life? Is that why? Is this why we do Easter eggs? My whole entire life, I have no idea why we colored Easter eggs, we hide Easter eggs. I have no idea why they have an Easter basket. Clearly, I didn't pay attention in religion class growing up. Yes, I made all my sacraments. So here I am wondering, is that the reason why? And then I look it up on Google. And you know what? Google tells me, yes, that is correct. The egg is an ancient symbol of new life, obviously, and it's associated with pagan festivals, celebrating spring. So from a Christian perspective, Easter eggs are said to represent Jesus' emergence from the tomb, the resurrection, and my mind is blown. I mean, I feel like, Ma, if you're listening to this, you're going to be like, what's the matter with my daughter? My mother actually sounds like, what's the matter with my daughter? What's wrong with you, Elyse? You went to school your whole life. You went to CCD. You don't know that Easter eggs, you don't know the symbolism of the egg. I don't. I had no idea. Or maybe I knew and I forgot. But you know what? Some days, don't you just feel like such an idiot? Like some days I wake up and I think, I'm very smart. I know a lot of different things. And then some days I wake up and I think, no, you're a fucking idiot. That's how I feel that's how I felt about the Easter egg realization. I don't know. Maybe you can agree. Or maybe you can relate, I should say. Hold on. I need a sip of coffee. I'm loving this Whole Foods coffee, vanilla flavored. It's not like flavored like junky. What was that in general, international, Swiss international? Remember from the 90s or the 80s, they had that coffee. It was a little can, a little square, a rectangle can, and it was like International Delights, and it was like French vanilla, and it had a striped decor on the can of coffee. It would be like, I don't think it was on the shelf, like in the where the fancy coffees were, like above where Maxwell House is on the supermarket shelf. But no, this is not that coffee. Because that like International Delight, like I think that's garbage. I think there's a lot of sugar in there. No, this is the Whole Foods 365 brand. They have, they have all these different flavors. So I got the vanilla flavor. There's caramel, mocha. It's delicious. I make it in my Mr. Coffee pot. I love it. Anyway, I had a busy week with work, busy week with life, busy week with the kids. Kids are on spring break. I opened for Pauly Shore this week. That was fun. That was totally cool. Pauly Shore, he has a one-man show called Stick with the Dancing. And it's all about, it's not his traditional stand-up. It's all about his life, pictures from his childhood and stories. And Pauly Shore's mother is Mitzi Shore. I don't know if you know that. Mitzi Shore is the famed owner of the Comedy Store out in LA. And so he had this one-man show and at City Winery in New York, in Chelsea. And I got to open for him. And it was great. It was great. A lot of people that were there were like diehard Pauly Shore fans. So I'm sure when I came out, they were probably like, just bring on Pauly, bring on the weasel. But, it was good. We had a good time. Here's the thing. Uh, he got a charcuterie board delivered to the green room right before he went on, and he wasn't there yet. And it looked so scrumptious. I mean, like plump dates, manchego cheese, brie that looked just like the perfect ratio of like fluffy, creamy inside with then the crusty outside brie. I know, and describing brie as crusty is like disgusting, right? But and the grapes and it looked delicious. And there it was. It was me and the charcuterie board in the green room, and there was Paulie Shore nowhere in sight. And I just had to I had to take a couple pieces off of the charcuterie board. I mean, the thing is like nobody knows. He doesn't need to know. But Paulie, if you're listening to this, yes, I am a culprit, a hamburglar. I had to have a few bites. You can't put a giant plate of cheese and meats in front of an Italian girl. You can't expect me just to not touch it, Paulie. Anyway, we had a great time. I don't know. He's only doing a couple runs in New York of his show, a few runs of his show in New York, and then he's off to the next city. But how are you, more importantly? How was your Easter? My Easter was good. My family, I don't know, as everybody's getting older, nobody seems to want to host anymore, like cook. Like everybody, they want to go out to dinner. Not on Christmas. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, we're home. But Easter, for some reason, my family, they always want to go out to eat. I don't like going to a restaurant. It's so chaotic. Oh, I just spilled coffee all over my palazzo pants, of course. I got these palazzo pants that I'm wearing at Cachet. Remember that store at Cachet? It was in the mall. They had good stuff there. I don't know what happened to it. A little pricey. Anyway, the thing is like going to a restaurant on Easter with an Italian family or any family, really. First of all, you got more than 15 people. You're already having a problem with seating. Okay, seating is always a problem. It takes us 35 minutes just to effing get a seat. Okay, and then the seats change. It's musical chairs the whole entire dinner. It stresses everybody out. And then it's what are we going to order? Nobody can order without asking everybody else what they're going to have, And then of course, the menu, it's beautiful. And I wind up getting the same old thing, chicken marsala. I don't know why I always get chicken marsala when I'm out. Not always, but a lot of times. I just like it. And I don't make it for whatever reason. I don't make the marsala. I should. I have marsala wine and they make it easy with the sliced portobello, little mini mushrooms you could buy in the supermarket. But anyway, we went to Connecticut for Easter. My aunt, she lives in Connecticut, and we went to a restaurant there. And the restaurant, what was the restaurant's name? Osteria Westport or something. I think that was what it was called, or Osteria of Westport or in Westport. It was in a strip mall. When we first pulled up, I was like, this is going to be okay. And then we walked in, and the decor was beautiful. It was like dark wood. It was very convivial feeling. And the food was great. We just had a great time. So I hope you had a good Easter as well. We after dinner we went back to my auntie's house in Connecticut. And by the way, if you're wondering why I call my aunt auntie, it's not because of my British kids. It's because when I was born, my aunt was in banking. She had her career in banking, and she was living in London at the time. And in the UK, they call the aunts aunties. So she wanted to be called auntie. So that's what I call her. Her real name is Lori. Anywho. We went back to Auntie's house for dessert. I made Struffoli, and let's talk about that for a second. If you don't know Struffoli, Italian people, we have them usually at Christmas. But I made them for Easter because I didn't make them at Christmas. And if you don't know what they are honey balls. They are little fried balls of dough that you throw in a saucepan with vegetable oil. You fry them, you coat them in honey, and then you put some sprinkles on them. And we put this on the table at Christmas. And it's always like a big thing. And it's always one of those desserts when you go to somebody's house. They're like, oh, you got the Struffoli. Oh, I love Struffoli. Here's the thing. I got this recipe from one of my friend's mothers, and I love it because it uses orange zest, and you can put lemon zest in it if you want. I have the recipe in front of me. I'm going to read it to you quick, but leave it to my grandmother, okay? Go to my auntie's house. I walk in, she's there, obviously, and I said, Nani, I made the Struffoli this year. And she's like, oh, you made them, Eliane. That's what she calls me, Eliane. Oh, you made them, Eliane. That's so nice. Oh, I'm going to have to try. And I said, okay. And then she takes one Struffoli and puts it in her mouth. And she turns to my mother and she says, "This is not how I make them." Ah! I was like, can't we ever be nice? Can't we be nice in this family? Can't we be nice? Why do we have to say something negative? Why? Why do we lead with the negative? I swear to God, I love my grandmother. She was always at my house. She like helped raise me, but what's with the negativity? And it's like, who cares if they don't taste like the ones you made? Like, are you insulted that I didn't ask you for your recipe? And maybe I should have. You know what? After I finish this podcast, I'm going to call my nanny up. I'm going to ask her for her Struffoli recipe. The thing is I didn't even think about it. My friend's mother gave me the recipe with this orange zest in it, and we didn't make them like that. Big deal. So I'm like, we don't make them like this. And my Struffoli were light color. They were like a golden color. And my grandmother makes them darker because she leaves them in the fryer for longer. And hers are smaller. These were a little bigger. My Struffoli didn't come out doughy. Like, I don't like the Struffoli where you take a bite and they're like slightly crusty on the outside, but they're very pillowy. Mine weren't like that. They were crunchy. But they were a golden color. They weren't like a brown. And big effing deal that they weren't like yours. Everything to say. Can't we be nice? Anyway, this is how I made them. This makes about 150 Struffoli. And let me just say, these people back in the day that would, the families, and maybe your family does it too, but the making of the Struffoli, just that alone, just Struffoli alone, any holiday. This is like a 4-man project. You need a whole line of work is doing the thing. And I know family friends that everybody gets together and does this, and that's so nice. But this is not a 1-man job. I had my kids helping me. I had my boyfriend helping me. It took a long time, and I can't imagine what it was like 30, 40, 50 years ago. And part of me is envious of families that still do this, but the families they make everything. One house, they're making Struffoli, the stuffed artichoke, stuffed mushrooms, they're making the ham. That's a lot of work for one person. It's a lot of work. Anyway, okay. So Struffoli recipe makes about 150. Obviously, I feel like that's not a lot. I got like 2 good sized Tupperwares, 4 eggs, 2 teaspoons of orange zest, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, a half a cup of butter melted, 2 cups of flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and then vegetable oil for the frying. So, you obviously combine that all, cream the butter and the sugar first, I did it all in my KitchenAid mixer, which I love. I can't live without. I can't imagine how my mother, when I was younger, she used the beater, the electric beater. KitchenAid, so much better. For the glaze, which I liked, and again, my grandmother doesn't do this. After she gets everything mixed up in the KitchenAid blender, whatever the hell she uses, she probably does it by hand. Once she fries, well, let me say this. You mix it all up in the KitchenAid, and then you take that dough and you wrap it in plastic wrap and you put it in the fridge for like 2 hours or up to overnight. And the reason why is because the dough is so sticky. So you need to work with it better. So it needs to chill. The dough needs to chill. And when you're done with the dough, cut the dough into 4s, just quick, make a lick of tea, roll it out on a floured surface into long snakes, and then take a knife and just cut into little tiny balls, right? You get the balls, you have all your snakes, all the cut up balls. You got about 150 balls laying on your kitchen table. And then you put about 3 inches of vegetable oil in a saucepan. You let it get hot. I always check the oil by like flicking a little drop of water. And if it kind of like, it explodes, then obviously I know it's ready. And you fry maybe like 15, 25 at a time because you don't want to crowd the pan. You take them out, and put them on a plate with the paper towels so the oil drips off. When all your balls are fried, you're going to get another saucepan, a separate saucepan. And this is my friend's mother's recipe. You're going to melt in it 1 cup of honey, 2 tablespoons of orange juice, and then a half a cup of granulated sugar. You're going to keep the heat on low. And you're going to let the granulated sugar, melt into the honey and the orange juice. And it makes this delicious. I love the orange flavor. Someone wrote to me on TikTok because I did a little video on it and said they're allergic to orange. And I said, oh, well, you can make it with lemon too. My friend's mother said you could do it with the lemon. You take all the balls, you glaze them in the orange and honey sauce, and then you throw the sprinkles on them and you're done, right? My grandmother doesn't do the orange juice, the orange zest in the dough. She had everything to say. By the way, if you didn't do the orange zest, the orange juice, if you didn't do the honey, or or the sugar, if you just had the balls, by the way, and you just put some powdered sugar on after, it's like Zeppelis. But let me tell you something. This is my first time making them, which I can't believe. It's my first time making Struffoli. Like I said, a ton of work. But I will say, making the Struffoli made me eat less, which is, that's a thing. You cook a big meal and then for whatever reason, the person that cooks always only winds up having, like half a plate of food. But it made me cook less, not because of I was sick of being around the balls. It was because I saw how all the oil that these little balls absorbed. And I was like, I was sick to my stomach. I was like, that oil, a minute on the lips, a lifetime on the hips, baby. I can't live like this. Anyway, you should make it. If you have a recipe for grain pie, I would love that, by the way. Another thing us Italians love. And my family doesn't make it. We had it at Easter, but it came from the bakery. But I love grain pie. Okay. Speaking of weight and complex, I went to the Gap. I love the Gap, right? I love the Gap because I got the kids. It's a lot shopping. Every store, the sizes are ridiculous. And the Gap one, it makes me feel thin. Okay. Like I'm like a 6 or an 8 in a Gap, but I haven't loved all of the Gap clothes recently, but this season, I think the Gap has great stuff. You got to check it out. First of all, let me tell you some of my favorite things. I don't have it written in front of me. I'm waiting for them to come, by the way. They have these really big linen button-down shirts, with a nice collar. And I think they call them like a big linen shirt or something like that. And they come in all colors: white, hot pink, hot orange, like a sage green, so many colors. I love the way that looks on the beach, just like a big linen button-down shirt. I feel like it's such a chic look. I love that. They also have these dresses. They are like smocked. The top of the dress where your boobs are smocked, and it's a square neck, and it has like not spaghetti straps, just like tank top kind of straps, and underneath the smocking, it tears down, not like a pregnancy tear down, like it's a midi dress. So it comes like mid calf, and it comes in like a light denim color and a black. I got it in the black. Again, it's so chic. Honestly, if you were going to a summer wedding with a nice pair of like espadrilles or something and nice jewelry, hair and makeup, you could wear this dress to a wedding. Like it just looks so flattering on. I love a square neck dress. They had a lot of stuff. They had a lot of cute matching sets. And pink shorts with a pink, long sleeve kind of silky blouse. And what I love about that is that everything is kind of baggy and flowy and fabricy and COVID body-y. You know what I'm saying? Here's my gripe with the Gap this season. And I have to say, I haven't been in the Gap in a long time because I usually just shop online because I know what I like. I went to the Gap near Lincoln Center the other day to try on a couple of these things because I knew I was going to do a big order and I wanted to just do it online at home. I didn't want to schlep the stuff back from the store home. I was taking the girls to the movies to see Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I did not want to put my clothes in the shopping bag on the floor of the movies. Oh my God, I'm a germaphobe. Absolutely not. So I'm in the Gap and I see this cute little like sweat shirt and bike short set. And I look up at the sign and it says Gap Teen. Gap Teen. I'm like, what the hell is Gap Teen? I know Gap Kids, girls, boy. So I say to the guy, oh, what's Gap Teen? And he says, oh, this is our teen collection. And I'm like, this stuff is so cute. And I said, but is it girls' sizes or is it women's? And they have Gap Teen for guys too. And it's also like I think they like marketing it as unisex, which clothing, fine. I mean, don't get me started on that actually, but whatever. Because how the hell, if you're like a big chested girl, how the hell is a unisex big chested girl shirt also going to fit maybe a boy that doesn't have, or somebody that identifies as a boy? You got to say that these days. Somebody that identifies as a boy. Like how does the same thing fit? Anyway, Gap, he says, well, the sizes are teen sizes, which automatically made me think of that teen store 579. And he said, but if you buy a larger size, you could probably wear Gap teen too. And I said, oh, okay, great. So I didn't try anything on in the store because I was miffed. I can't sift through all these sizes, but the stuff was cute. So when I went home and I was doing my online order, I saw that same black midi dress, that the square neck one, but not midi. It was mini, and I like mini because I like my legs, and which is like the only thing I like. And so I said, oh, I'm gonna buy this. I'll try. If I don't like it, I'll return it. Big deal. Well, Gap teen. Do you know what size I had to buy in Gap teen? Wait, brace yourself. 3 queen. Triple XL, and the number of the size is size 18 to 20. What a fucking complex do I have now? Okay. And listen, no offense if you are listening to this and you're a big boy or a big girl, because you know what? Fat genes run in my family. Okay. I fight the fat gene every day. And every day you could find me 1 minute telling people I'm on a diet, and the next minute locked into my pantry, just snaffling down anything I could get my hands on. Okay. I don't want to be a size 18 or 20. It's not anything about if you are a bigger person. One of my best friends, she'll die if she hears this. So if you're listening to this, like, sorry, but my best friend, she's a bigger girl. She just is. She's short, but she's bigger. But she always looks gorgeous. She always looks so neat and put together. And that's the key, right? Like if you are a curvy girl, you just have to look neat, right? Neat, and wear your things like fitted, whatever. She always looks fabulous. Ina Garden is a bigger girl, and she always looks amazing in those blue smocks. Speaking of, by the way, the big shirts. I mean, is she not one of the best wearers of a big shirt? But I don't want to buy size 18 to 20. Sorry, Gap. I mean, like, what kind of complex are you giving people? I don't understand. There was the goal of Gap Teen to have an all-inclusive line. Was that the goal, or was the goal to just appeal to teens? It seems like, why don't you just make it in, I don't know, like girls and guys sizes, just those designs, and just screw Gap Teen? I don't know. I said to the kid, how long has this been, Gap, when I was in the store, how long has this been going on? He tells me 2 years. I was like, 2 years? You started the store in the pandemic, Gap? Anyway, I have a friend from high school who she's in marketing at the Gap. I should ask her. Speaking of clothing, Love Shack Fancy, that brand I told you about, that's like Victorian, billowy, florally, ridiculously unaffordable. They have a sample sale going on in Manhattan. I didn't go yet. I really want to go. You know what? I should go today. I should go today later after work and do a video. It's the sample sales it ends on April 24th, but it's at 261 Fifth Avenue. 261 Fifth Avenue. I think that's around like 23rd Street. I think. Don't hold me to it. Sample sales are always hit or miss. There are some sample sales that go on, and I used to like track all the sample sales. Some sample sales that go on in the city are amazing, like amazing. Like I went to the Todd's sample sale. Oh my God, friends and family only. I swear to God, I went Todd's bananas in there. I was crazy. Loafers for $89. I mean, it was amazing. But and obviously, I'm not saying that loafers for $89 is any bargain, but if you know, those loafers are $500 normally. But some sample sales are garbage, But I think Love Shack might be a good one. So I should try to stop by. Anywho. My family friend, I guess she's my aunt, Gilda, she passed away. Very sad. She was older. She had a stroke. And we went to Staten Island. My sister recommended this restaurant, DeLucci. And it was good. But we got to the restaurant. Okay. The Monday night wake, get to the restaurant, Italian, obviously. My sister, my mother, my other sister, we were all supposed to go together, but it wound up just being me and my boyfriend because, I don't know, everybody decided they wanted to go home because it was late. But my sister recommended this place to us. We get to the restaurant. I walk in, special occasion restaurant. The food was good, but The place was expensive. I said to my sister, what the hell are you doing recommending this kind of place on a Monday night to me? I said, Monday. And this is what I want to ask you. If somebody recommends a restaurant to you, right? Don't you think that they have to give you a caveat that it's pricey? Don't you think they should say, oh, it's a nicer place? Oh, it's a nicer restaurant. Oh, you know what? Oh, hey, by the way, entrees are about like $40 to $50. I was expecting like a trattoria, a pizzeria with a nice restaurant section on the side. I said to my sister, 2 people having dinner on a Monday night, $250 in Staten Island. Why? Right across the street was a restaurant. Across from DeLucca's was a restaurant called Reggiano's. And that was like a tavern with pizza, and it looked more like chill. I said, why didn't you tell me to go there? She's like, well, I didn't know that DeLuca was so expensive. I said, okay, it's an unwritten rule. It's an unwritten rule. You gotta give me the warning. We have to give people the warning. You can't just, of course, I sat down. I saw the menu. I said, I don't want to stay. I told my boyfriend, let's just go. And he says, Elyse, let's just stay. What's the big freaking deal? Big deal. Let's just stay. We don't ever go out like to nice places. You're always doing stand-up at night. I said, because I don't want to spend $45 on a bowl of macaroni on a Monday. Anyway, whatever. Okay. Product of the week. Oh my God. I found the best skin cream ever. I don't know if you know about this. So this cream has been around for 30 years. It's called Egyptian Magic. Here's the deal. I was in a nail salon reading a magazine, saw it. One of the celebrities like mentioned it. I don't know, that it was their favorite cream for overnight. And it wasn't like a picture in the magazine, it's like, it was, they kind of just mentioned it. So it's like, it wasn't like advertorial-ish is what I'm saying. I've heard of this cream before because years ago when I was like intern in college, I interned in like the beauty department of magazines and the fashion department and blah, blah. And they would talk about this cream, and everybody like swears by it. Like, I think like Eva Mendes like loves it. I think Madonna loves it. Cameron Diaz. Anyway, I got it on Amazon, Egyptian Magic. It's just a few ingredients. It's a white little tub, which I like, little white tub. The logo and the product packaging is cool. It has like, like a pyramid and a sun and a moon, whatever. The only ingredients, I have it right here. It's olive oil, beeswax, honey, bee pollen, something else with a bee, like bee, something else that comes from bees, and royal jelly. Don't ask me what these things are, but it's all natural. There's no perfumes, there's no dyes. And they say to use it at night because it's, like an oil-based cream. I have oily skin. I didn't want to use an oil-based cream, but I know face oils, they're good for you, blah, blah. So I get one for me, and I get one for my sister, Allison, because, for her birthday, I put in her birthday, little thing for her birthday. And that was part of her gift. And I tried it the other day, and I was like, oh my God, please, dear God, don't make my skin break out, because just don't. And it was amazing. It was amazing. So I used the littlest dot of cream. I put it in the palm of my hand. I kind of like warmed it up. They say warm it up, put it on the skin. And it almost got a little oily, but not like skeeve oily, like nice, like you feel like penetration oily, And it was great. I woke up, my skin literally was brighter. I swear. You got to try it. I think I paid like $15 for the little thing, the little thing. Oh, last night I put it on my lips because my lips are always chapped. It was amazing. I started looking up the uses. They say you could use it for massage. Who gets massages? I mean, honestly, what am I, the Queen of Egypt over here? They say you can use it as makeup primer. Yeah, I don't really know about that because I don't want oil on my face to prime my makeup. But they say treat cuts, scrapes, diaper rash, whatever. So you got to try it. What is it? Egyptian Magic. Egyptian Magic cream. That's what I got today. Next week is our 100th episode. I'm like, oh yeah, 100th episode. We're going to do something special. Like, what am I doing for the 100th episode? I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to have my coffee. I'm going to be in my nightgown, the same thing. By the way, I saw, Dina from Real Housewives of New Jersey. I follow her on Instagram because I think she's so cute. And she has a podcast, I guess. I don't know. And she posted a picture of like what her podcast, like the scene from her podcast. And it was like, she showed the background of her home, and it was like so beautifully decorated. And my home is beautifully decorated. But like I don't know, If you look behind me, there's like plants that need to be watered. There's like my bookshelf with my. Oh, God. I don't know. Some stuff is just so staged. I'm the real deal. I'm a work in progress. By the way, the movie's going great. The film will, it takes up a lot of my time at night, but that's okay. Because that's what you got to do to make it, baby, Anyway, drop me a line in Instagram DMs. Tell your friends to follow me on Instagram. I need to get more followers. I can't even deal with asking with this. I asked about that. It's insane. It's just insane. But that is the business that it is. Thank you, as always, for listening. This is episode 99, and our quote of the day is by Theodore Roosevelt. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I love that, right? Your passion influences other people, baby. I'm Elyse DeLucci. This is episode 99. This is the Elyse DeLucci Show. And thank you, as always, for listening and supporting me. I will talk to you later, darling.